What's up, guys? I'm just going to talk about a few things about the fitness industry, mainly on how fitness influencers are promoting sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, whether they know it or not. So I'm going to break down how and why. So we're going to start off with how they're promoting sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which is the type of hypertrophy you don't want. Okay, they put this term muscle growth out there. Oh, this promotes muscle growth. Let's do this to improve your muscle growth. You go on my program, you're gonna build more muscle. Muscle growth is a blanket term for two types of hypertrophy. Okay, sarcoplasmic and myofibral hypertrophy. So what is sarcoplasmic hypertrophy? All it is, in layman's terms, is pumping fluid inside your muscle to make it look big. It's an illusion of muscle growth. It's artificial muscle. It's not real muscle. What everybody thinks they're growing when they're following these programs of fitness influencers, they think they're growing myofibral. They're myofibrils. What's the myofibrils? It's the actual contractile tissue of the muscle. So everybody that are following these fitness influencers, all their programs, they believe they're growing myofibral hypertrophy. No, very minimal myofibrils, but mainly sarcoplasmic, which is artificial and just fluid inside the muscle. So how are they promoting this? It's just in the nature of their programs. It's in the nature of standard training. So in standard training, you have the concentric and the eccentric phase. So the concentric is the lifting portion of the lift, and the eccentric will be the lowering phase of a lift. So if you're bench pressing, the eccentric is when the bar's coming down to your chest, and the concentric is when you're pushing the bar up. What this is because why this is promoting sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is because you're using one weight for both phases of the lift. Now, on the concentric phase, it's much harder to move that weight than the eccentric. In the eccentric, you can handle more weight. So, when you're doing standard training, you're putting more effort in on pushing the weight in the concentric. And you're underloading the eccentric phase, which in nature is just gonna cause more sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. It's gonna cause you to pump more fluid inside the muscle because you're not damaging the muscle when you're doing the concentric. And what you want to do, you want to cause muscle damage so that your muscles could trigger a max growth response and repair and remodel and grow the myofibrils stronger and denser than last time. Okay? But that doesn't happen with concentric training. In the concentric, you're not gonna damage your muscle. Try it out. Try this out. Do concentric only movements for 3 months. And then after that, do eccentric only movements, eccentric overload movements for 3 months and test the results. I guarantee you, you would see zero growth, absolute zero growth with the concentric only movements for 3 months, because you're not damaging the sarcomere. You're not damaging the muscle fibers. You're shortening the sarcomeres and you're just squeezing the muscle. You would get a little stronger. You would get stronger doing concentric only. That's all. But you will not grow your myofibrils. You will not grow the actual contractile tissue, because you're not going to be causing muscle damage. You're just going to get fatigued. So here's the thing. That's how they're promoting sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, whether they know it or not. Okay? Why are they promoting it? Well, they're promoting it because it's easier to sell. It's easier to sell because it's traditional. All they're doing is regurgitating information they learned from previous influencers or previous authorities. they don't know how to challenge these ideas or actually look at the science and say, hey, you know what? The eccentric phase is the only portion that builds muscle, that builds the myofibrils. Why are we doing the concentric as well? Isn't that just going to slow down the effects of the eccentric phase? That's what I've been thinking about. And now I only do eccentric overload training. I don't do the concentric. I just do the lowering part of the phase. Also, because it gives you fast results. It gives you fast and artificial results. That's what standard training does. You think you're growing muscle because you're getting bigger. Your muscles are growing, they're expanding, but it's not because of the myofibrils, it's because of the fluid inside the muscle that you're putting inside the muscle from sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. That's why. Another reason why they're promoting this, well, they know the eccentric phase builds muscle, or they say that it's more growth promoting. But it's not just that. It's not just that the eccentric phase is more growth promoting, is that it's the only growth promoting phase. Let's say this, out of 100%, the concentric phase will probably grow the myofibrils 10 to 20%. The eccentric phase, eccentric overloading, will grow the myofibrils 100%. There's no comparison. There's no comparison when it comes to these two phases. I believe there's no reason to do the concentric unless you're an athlete. Then obviously, yes, you're gonna need to do the concentric for performance sake. But if you're trying to just grow muscle and build your myofibrils, there's no reason to do the concentric phase at all. All you will need to do is eccentric overload, trigger a max growth response, because you're actually causing micro damage, and stay in a positive nitrogen balance, meaning eating enough protein, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Okay? So that's how and why fitness influencers promote sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. The nature of their program, because they all do standard training, concentric, eccentric training. One weight for both phases, even though the eccentric phase you can handle more weight than the concentric. So you're making the concentric, like I said, where you're putting the most effort. You're pumping fluid inside the muscle when you do that. That's the reason why, that's how they do it, because it's the nature of the program. Why they're doing it? It's easier to sell. They don't know about eccentric overload, or they do know that the eccentric phase builds muscle, but they don't truly understand the potency of the truly focusing on eccentric lifting. And they probably have heard about this, but they're so dogmatic. They don't want to change, because they've been showing that these programs are the best, that if they were to change, then it kind of showed that they didn't really know what truly build muscle. So those are just reasons that I think how and why fitness influencers are promoting sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which is artificial muscle. It's not the true contractile tissue. Okay, the way, in order to build true contractile tissue, is through eccentric overload training. 100 to 130% of your load that you do eccentrically for multiple, maybe 3 sets to 6 to 10 reps. That's how you truly build your myofibrils. Okay? When you do standard training, yes, you will grow your myofibrils. You will grow your contractile tissue, but at a very, very slow rate. Very slow rate. Because you're not truly loading the eccentric phase. You are stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. Okay? You're still accumulating money, currency, through picking up pennies, but you're stepping over dollars, meaning you are accumulating that wealth much slower than just picking up the dollars right away. You know, like if you were to do eccentric overload training. So just give it a try, guys. Give it a try. If you don't believe me, then do concentric only training for 3 months. Test, see what your results are, and then do concentric eccentric trainings. Do standard training for 3 months, see what your results are, and then do eccentric overload training for 3 months. I guarantee you will see way more results doing eccentric overload training for 3 months. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Peace.